is a special time of year, and I think some of the folks just slept outside and just filing back in. Those that left late last night with grins on their faces ear to ear. So the Rockies come in 71 and 54. The Dodgers arrive atop the division at 74 and 51. And tonight we don't show you the wild card off the top. We show you the NL West, where the Rockies are knocking on the door of the LA Dodgers, just 3 back. And good evening, everybody. I'm Drew Goodman. I think most of us still abuzz after what Ryan Spilborghs and the club was able to accomplish last night. Well, they're back at it tonight, opening up a 3-game set against the LA Dodgers. And who would have imagined, the way the first 7 weeks of this season went, that the Rockies would be anywhere close to this spot? But George Frazier, lo and behold, the Rockies have won at an historic level, and the Dodgers have been fine, but, you know, somewhat pedestrian since early June.
That's a great way to put it, too, because their ball club above 500 since this June date of what's gone on. But what the Rockies have done has all come down to pitching and where they've had to handle the bullpen and the bench and the job that they've had to do. The Rockies have not had an injury in their rotation except for Aaron Cook from that time to this time. So I think that's the biggest key, where the Dodgers have had to patchwork their rotation. They haven't had to be able to put the right lineup or right rotation out every single time. Broxton has struggled a little bit out of their bullpen. Sherrill got a save the other day. Broxton pitched the 8th. They're patching some things together where the Rockies have reached a lot of momentum.
Well, it's still obviously a very talented team. They've been good from the outset this year, and as you well know, they've been very, very good against the Rockies. The Rockies are just 2-10 this year in matchups against the Dodgers. Who's that man? He looks familiar, doesn't he? Eric Young Jr., Matt Merton. We'll tell you about their story next. Tavis, you got to talk louder in there. I could not. It's loud behind us. You know, we got public address. I didn't. Between the Rockies and the Dodgers, after the Rockies took 3 of 4 from the San Francisco Giants to create a little bigger separation in that wild card race. Drew Goodman back with George Frazier. The Rockies made a couple of roster moves today. The most unfortunate one is the injury to Dexter Fowler. Last night he hobbled around the bases after fouling a ball off his knee. He was forced to go on the disabled list. He's walking around on crutches right now. Adam Eaton sent down. EY Jr.'s up, George.
Well, all the headlines are here. Now it's time to come play at the show. Everybody feels like this young man can perform at the big league level. He is one of the hardest workers you'll find in a game of baseball. He's obviously grown up in a big league locker room. Carrying himself in that uniform on this field should be able to handle this type of situation for him. Now, you know, everybody says, oh, what are you going to do? Dexter's hurt. This guy's hurt. What are we going to do? This is why you have the minor leagues. This is why you have Bill Smith. This is why you have all the guys in development. For when you do have these type of injuries, you hope you have a guy like a Young and hope they come up and perform the way you plan for them to. This is why you got the minor leagues.
Well, he got a call early this morning. He's in the big leagues. He's in the starting lineup. And, oh, by the way, he's leading off against the LA Dodgers. Welcome to the show. Rockies and Dodgers, come on back to Coors Field with us. Time and money. By Quest, get 2 free gigs of online backup with Quest high-speed internet. And by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. And welcome inside Coors Field, where last night the Rockies shocked the San Francisco Giants 6-4 in 14 innings. They fell behind 4-1 at the top of the 14th. No problem. They load the bases, score a run on a walk to Adam Eaton, and then that man, Ryan Spilborghs, hit the ball over the right center field wall for the first Rockies walk-off grand slam in their history. A lot of guys slept in this morning, George.
Well, yeah, because you didn't go to bed last night. You woke up this morning, can't wait to get to the ballpark. That's the best part about it when you're playing this kind of baseball and you have that kind of excitement out of one player, Ryan Spilborghs. Joe Torre coming to town, probably watching the ball game last night, saying this is some kind of ball club they're going to face here tonight at Coors Field in the Rockies.
Jason Hamill on the hill. He'll start the series. Here's Rafael Furcal, and the first pitch is outside, ball 1. In center field, taking over for Dexter Fowler, is Eric Young Jr. And you say, wait a second, I thought he was more of a second baseman. He's been playing center field 2 out of every 3 days over the last couple of weeks in preparation for the possibility that he would get outfield work when he was called up in September.
Well, he also went to Arizona Fall League, where that's where he played exclusively out in center field to see if he can handle the position.
72 degrees, the game time temperature. For Kyle's numbers are below what you'd expect them. 256 average, not where you typically see for Kyle. And that pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Jerry Meals is behind home plate, calling balls and strikes. At first base is Mike DeMuro. Dale Scott, the crew chief, is at second. Ron Copa is at third. And the 2-2 is bounced to second. Easy play for Barmes, 1 out. Let's take a look at the rest of Joe Torre's lineup. They've been somewhat schizophrenic offensively of late, but they have a lot of ability. Matt Kemp's had a great year. Andre Ethier's had a terrific year. Manny Ramirez has tailed off since his wonderful start and then the 50-game suspension. Then James Loney, Casey Blake, Russell Martin, Orlando Hudson, and the kid Clayton Kershaw. Orlando Hudson, George, when we saw the Dodgers earlier this year, he was typically in the 2-hole, not the 8-hole.
Well, still hitting .291, 57 RBIs out of the 8-hole. You know, it's surprising, not a lot of stolen bases, with the exception. Kemp has 26 stolen bases. Russell Martin with just 9 right now. But a lot of their other stolen bases was when Juan Pierre was in the lineup for Manny Ramirez. The Dodgers, prior to the offense, was scoring an awful lot of runs, a little bit over 5 runs per game. Now they're scoring, since post-break, just a little over 4 runs per ball game. Manny Ramirez, I'm sure, a big part of that.
Broken bat, single to center field. So Kemp, who is hitting .312, is aboard with 1 out in front of Andre Ethier.
Well, a 2-hole against Mr. Hamill this year has hit .426 on the year. 90 to 95 mile an hour fastball. Went strictly 4-seam in that start against Washington. Had a lot of success with it. Slider's going to be quick, hard breakdown and away. 12-6 hook, working to that outside part of the plate with some velocity and the circle change he'll put in, particularly against left-handed bats.
Ethier at .282 with 25 home runs, steps up. Former Arizona State star. And Hamill checks out Matt Kemp, who has 26 stolen bases. It's tied with Dexter Fowler among the National League leaders. Ethier hitting well in August. He's at .349. Hamill's coming off a terrific performance against Washington. After a couple of rough performances, he went 7 innings, allowed just 1 run on 3 hits. That's a good Washington lineup. I know people look at the record and they dismiss him, but they have a pretty good lineup. A couple of walks, 3 punch-outs. He used the 4-seam fastball quite a bit, George.
Well, that's one thing. He works at both sides of the plate. There's the big jump by Kemp. Throw right on the money by Iannetta. Great skip catch by Tulowitzki. 27 stolen base for Kemp. He's been caught 6 times on the season. You see that jump with a little big man as he is at 6'6", 6'7" for Hamill. It allows a little bit more time for a base stealer to get into that position. Boy, what a good skip catch right here. I mean, the hand got just up underneath the tag of that. Runners in scoring position against Jason Hamill this year. The opposition's hit .331.
They're the stolen base leaders in the National League. Here's the 1-0 to Ethier. And it's chopped foul, 1-1. Dodgers have been so good at getting quick starts. They've outscored the opposition 90 to 40 this year. Your base at +50. Dodgers hoping their bats would come alive at Coors Field, though they won 3 of 4 against the Cubs. In their last 3 games against Chicago, in which they won 2 of the games, they scored only 5 runs. And there's a base hit, and Hop has to wait for it. Here comes Kemp to the plate. He will score, and Iannetta didn't get the ball out of his glove, and that's not Rockies baseball there. They allow Ethier to move into scoring position, and it's 1-0. So the Dodgers again getting a quick jump.
Looking at the location of this pitch, they want it in on the knuckles. It is there. But look at Ethier's front side. Right here and here. Open up off of the baseball and be able to drive a shot right at Brad Hop. Hop trying to get his feet in underneath of it and get in a position to make this throw to the plate. Now, if Iannetta could have handled this out of the glove. See a little bit of a stutter right there on the throw. They probably are able to get Ethier.
So Ramirez at the plate with Andre Ethier at second base. And, of course, Manny doesn't run great. And he been at first base. Talking about Ethier, you had the double play still in order. And that would have been a double play ball. 2 outs. 2 gone. James Loney coming up. In the outfield for the Rockies, Spilborghs, E.Y. Jr. and Brad Hopp. Garrett Atkins and Troy Tulowitzki on the left side. Barmes and Helton on the right side. Chris Iannetta catching after Yorvi Torrealba caught all 14 yesterday. Iannetta the most well-rested of the position players, basically, because he didn't enter the ball game until the 14th inning. He pinch hit, had a single, and then kind of jogged home with everybody else when Spilborghs hit it out. This is a key situation early in this game. Keep it a 1-0 game. James Loney missed Saturday and Sunday's action against the Cubs with flu-like symptoms. He's in the lineup here on a Tuesday night. Loney's been scuffling a bit. Last 16 games hitting just 154, but he has always put up enormous numbers here at Coors Field. It's a 9 RBI ball game here a couple of seasons back. Loney has driven in the most runs of any player who's played 25 games at Coors Field. Look at that, 34 ribbies and a 372 average. In fact, if you look at how he's done in road ballparks, and he can hit. He has 34 RBIs at Coors Field. The next highest, 12 at Chase Field and Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. 1 and 2 on Loney.
See Iannetta tapping the ground, asking for that breaking ball, and he wanted put it right where he wanted it. Good pitch on a 1-2 count. And I noticed earlier, and I was watching a little bit of Loney at the plate. I wanted to see what he was doing with his feet, because a lot of times hitters that are struggle will try to get their feet going quicker because it helps their hands. And when I was watching him in the box that time, his first stride was back. In other words, it was going to the back side of the batter's box. In other words, he was going this way. You know, normally you'd like your weight shift back transfer, come right to the baseball. Iannetta wants it down there one more time. Oh, get a good foul.
Good foul, it does.
Now, did you see what Iannetta did there, folks? I don't know if you're watching, but he tapped the ground on the previous pitch to indicate I want a curveball in the dirt. So this time, it's just another indication with the veteran team not watching. See, now he's tapping here. Well, look at where the pitch is. Fastball, not breaking ball. He wanted it down, but it's a fastball. You get against veteran ball clubs, they see a tap on the ground, they may grab a bill of the cap, they may put their hands on their knees to say a breaking ball's coming, to indicate what this guy right down here, Ethier, tells the hitter with one little move.
I think he was doing it clearly to deke Ethier. Wouldn't you agree, George?
Well, he just trying not to give anything away, not only to Ethier, but to Don Mattingly, Jeff Pentland, who's been a big league pitching and hitting coach. They have 2 hitting coaches with the Dodgers, Don Mattingly and Jeff Pentland. And Bob Schaefer, been around the game a long time. Joe Torre's bench coach. There's Donnie Baseball. Son is in first-round draft pick by the Dodgers prior to him going to work for the Dodgers, playing in the California League.
2-2 again. It's blocked. Ethier does not attempt to move up. It's 3-2. On deck, you have the birthday boy, Casey Blake, turned 36 today. And Hamill will throw his 20th pitch on this 3-2 delivery to James Loney. Hard on the ground to second. Barmes has it. Loney retired in the inning. A single by Kemp and a stolen base turns into a run as Andre Ethier drives him in. Out in the homepage and click on the email the booth link, and we'll answer as many of your questions as we can. It's brought to you by Office Liquidators and OfficeLiquidators.com, Colorado's largest selection and lowest prices of office furniture. There is Eric Young Jr., the switch hitter, making his major league debut tonight, and he was going to come up in all likelihood in early September with the call-ups. And the irony, of course, is that he's up because Dexter Fowler, his best friend in baseball, has a bruised knee. He has a bruised bone, a bone bruise, I guess the correct medical way to term it. He had an MRI earlier today. He's on crutches right now. So his buddy E.Y. Jr. looks at his first big league pitch, ball one, and he has had an extraordinary year in Colorado Springs, hitting at .299, a Colorado Springs Sky Sox record, 118 runs scored. And he studies that pitch, 1-1. 58 stolen bases, a team record, and occasionally he hits the ball out of the ballpark. He's got 7 home runs, 21 doubles, 10 triples. And George, what you said about him earlier is true. This was not a high draft pick.
Junior college, 22nd round draft pick. But he saw the work ethic that his father brought every single day, not just taking ground balls and swinging a bat, but in the weight room and the extra work it takes to become a major league player. And I think it obviously lends to a huge advantage to a player if he's around the big league level. Now, obviously, he's going to have butterflies. It's his first major league at bat. He better have. But I think, too, the last couple of years, the Rockies have brought him over during spring training to play in major league games. So you feel a little more comfortable with your surroundings because you are facing guys like this.
This is in the air to right field. And it's handled by Andre Ethier. By the way, if you're wondering about his dad, he called his dad as soon as he heard from Stu Cole, the Colorado Springs manager, at 10 a.m. Called Mom, called Dad. Dad landed about 45 minutes ago, actually more like an hour ago, and is in the ballpark tonight to see his son make his big league debut. Rest of the Rockies lineup, Spilborgh's now hearing it from the crowd. Helt, Tulowitzki, Hop, Atkins, Barmes, Iannetta, and Hamill. And Spilborgh's a healthy cut at a Clayton Kershaw fastball.
Spilborgh's with more RBIs, more home runs against Kershaw than anybody in the lineup. 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. 4 for 8 in his career.
Downstairs 1 and 2.
Now, Kershaw is one of these guys that you look at and you see, oh man, 80 walks. The second in the big leagues behind Doug Davis, tied with Gallardo of Milwaukee. His last 6 starts, he struggled. He's 0-2, but he got a 3.00 earned run average. But his earned run average, May to July, 181. That led everything. Lincecum, 207. Kane, 213. Verlander. Halladay. And that's something else. 8-3 over that time. The opposition just hit a $187 against him. 90-96 with that fastball right over the top curveball. Started to throw a cutter. 87-91. He'll run in on the hands of a right-hander. Good changeup. 78. 283. 8-7 on the season with a 2.96 earned run average.
2 outs. Todd Helton steps in against Kershaw, and he fouls off the first pitch. Kershaw in his last outing threw 97 pitches in 3 2/3 against the Cardinals. That's a good looking pitch at 95. Helton 1 for 6 against Kershaw. Spielborgs, who just grounded out, has a couple of home runs against Kershaw. You know, last night turned out well for the Rockies. If it did not, all of the conversation today would have been about the blown opportunities.
A lot of them.
And this is chopped to Blake, so Kershaw works a 1-2-3 first. The Dodgers lead it 1-0.
Angeles Dodgers. Let's take a look at Burt Automotive's keys to this ball game tonight. It's a new day. Yesterday, you beat the Giants. You're 4 up. You got to come to the ballpark with new attitude, new adjustment on a very big high and a lot of momentum. And I think if you were able to maintain Manny Ramirez, they did it in the first at bat with a ground ball to shortstop. And of course, Hamill. He's going to be a big part of what goes on in this ball game if he can get you into the 6th or 7th inning with the extra inning ball game yesterday.
Eric Young Jr. throws it back in. A base hit for Blake. So 3 singles in the early going for the Dodgers. That'll bring up Russell Martin. Martin went just 3 for 15 on the homestand. He had 1 big hit. He hit a grand slam last week against the Cubs. Dodgers took 3 of 4 from Chicago. They lost on Sunday 3-1. They arrived yesterday in the late afternoon. Many of the players, the guys I talked to, stayed up late and watched the ball game last night. That's low, ball 1. Dodgers have feasted on Rockies pitching at Coors Field this year. In 6 games, they've scored 47 runs. 2-0.
It'll be important also for EY Jr. to look at Hop and look at Spilborghs. Pay attention in his dugout to Glenn out on the hill. Defensive movement with these guys. He hasn't played against the Dodgers. So it'll help him, for a guy that doesn't play every day in the outfield, it will help him to be able to get better jumps on the baseball. Cutoffs, relays, where they're going, understanding the speed of the game here. It's a little faster than what it is in AAA.
Two balls and a strike on Martin. Casey Blake at first base. Not somebody who's going to steal a base typically. Martin gets eaten up, and one play, and that's first. Is hit softly, and Blake got a good jump. So Blake in scoring position for Orlando Hudson, and let's send it down to Alana Rizzo with today's Mike Shaw Auto Update. Alana?
All right, Drew, thanks very much. I had an opportunity to talk to Ryan Spilborghs earlier today about his grand slam at bat. He said, you know what, I can't even explain it. It was a tremendous amount of emotion, but it wasn't just emotion from one game. He said it was everything that's happened to me really throughout the season, not only on the field here, but in his personal life with the loss of his mother Esperanza in the offseason. He said it was an emotion, a culmination of emotion from a long time coming. He said it was just, it all rushed to me in 1 minute. And in true Ryan Spilborghs form, he said it was awesome, guys.
Funny thing is, on his way home, he called his wife and he woke her up. She said, "Who won?" He said, "We did." He said, "How?" He said, "I'll be home in a couple of minutes." For those that somehow have missed it now, there it is. Grand slam home run. Ryan Spilborghs at the bottom of the 14th, and the Rockies win 6-4. That was his jubilant an in-season celebration that wasn't to clinch a division or a wild card spot, George, as I think I've ever seen.
Well, obviously here in Denver it is. I mean, to see those guys come back out of that ball game. Think of all the games that they went through, those 4 games with the San Francisco Giants, to be down 6-1, to come back and win a game, be up 14-6, hang on to a win, to go 14 innings yesterday, to get that win with the heightened awareness of the fact of where the wild card was at the time.
1-1 on Hudson, and it's 2-1. So you can get Hudson here. Hamill has the pitcher Kershaw on deck. And knocked down by Hamill, still with time, and he'll get the out at first. So Blake goes to third. And Clayton Kershaw, with just a 103 average, will come up. First email of the night from Socorro and Thornton. When Jason Giambi is called up from the minor leagues, how will it affect the lineup? It's not going to affect the lineup, Socorro, at all. Jason Giambi was not signed by the Rockies to start. Todd Helton's the starting first baseman. He was signed to give them another left-handed bat off the bench in September, and it will, help complement. That'll hurt the hands.
Well, you're talking about
it'll help complement Seth Smith, and right now in a 9th inning at bat, they're not going to go to Jason Giambi. In a 9th inning at bat, they're going to go to Seth Smith first.
Well, it gives combinations. If Seth is used in the 7th, it gives you another big left-handed bat. All of a sudden in the 9th inning, 407 career RBI or home runs. Over 1,300 RBIs. He's played in a division series from 2000 all the way straight through to 2007. He's been in a World Series in 03, League Championships in 03, an All-Star 5 times. So why not take the shot with him? He's hit over 286 as a pinch hitter in his career with home runs. It's the threat of the bat and the ability, and that's all well and good if it all gets back together at Colorado Springs in the next 7 days where you have the call-ups. Interesting this year with the late start to Major League season, the AAA season doesn't end until September 7th. And right now, Colorado Springs, they're in the playoffs with a 7-game lead. But if the Rockies need players here, obviously, to help win the National League West or secure the wild card, they will be here.
Big leagues take precedence over AAA, no question about it. Jason Giambi, activated earlier today in the lineup batting third against Reno, walked his first time up. Look out. This is an at-bat that's frustrating, I'm sure, to Bob Apodaca and maybe even Jason Hamill, because Kershaw, who doesn't hit very well, he has eaten up bullets. And the Dodgers well aware of the fact that the Rockies played 14 innings last night. Swung on and missed. And by the way, Houston Street is not available tonight. He's pitched in 5 of the last 6 ball games. He'll sit this one out. Tulowitzki to lead it off. Rockies trailing 1-0 in the second. Your Rockies fever at Taco Bell. When the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get 4 tacos for $1. That's a steal. Always check the stores for details. Brad Hott will face Clayton Kershaw, who worked a 1-2-3 first inning. The Rockies, excuse me, it'll be Tulowitzki, then Brad Hott. The Rockies need to get the offense going a little earlier in ball games. They took 3 or 4 from the Giants, but the 3 wins all in come from behind fashion. You'd like to play the lead a little bit.
Right, it's been what now, 27 or 28 come from behind wins this year for the Rockies, so you'd like to obviously add a little pressure on the opposition and relieve a little pressure off your starting pitcher.
Kershaw in line with that fastball. Tulowitzki last night 1 for 6 and a walk. Here's how the Dodgers are aligned defensively. Manny Ramirez is in left field. Matt Kemp in center. Andre Ethier in right. Casey Blake, Rafael Furcal, Orlando Hudson, James Loney in the infield, and Russell Martin is behind the plate. It's 1 and 2. Strike 3 at the knees.
Watch how this ball's received by Russell Martin when he pulls it up into the strike zone. See how the glove just turns out? You don't see it dive down a lot, and then a little bit of a pull to bring it up about 3 to 4 inches, and he got the strikeout call.
And Hop takes a strike. Well, George, in the early going, a kid that's had a reputation for having some control issues, he's thrown nothing but strikes. 14 of his first 18 in the zone.
Well, the walks that he has this year, 80, that's second, behind Doug Davis with 81. Not so much the walks sometimes, because he's given up a lot less hits than innings pitched, 100 hits in 140 innings. But it's all the 2-1, 3-2, 2-0 counts that he produces at times. And what he's shown to me tonight is he's tightened the breaking ball up. He's working on a good downward plane into the strike zone. His velocity maintained 93, 96. Rick Honeycutt, a left-hander in his own right, and a very good one.
Martin was throwing down, no swing. 2-2. Kershaw's 21. And in fact, most of spring training, he was 20. His birthday's the 3rd week of March. Strike 3. Hop knew it. Back-to-back called strike 3s. And now with 2 outs, Garrett Atkins will come up.
Well, you talked about his youth. I mean, he was 20 years, 65 days when he established his first day in the big leagues. The other youngest Dodger prior to that, Edwin Jackson. Pretty good year going on for him in Detroit right now. An all-star.
Atkins takes strike 1. Garrett 1 for 2 last night. He came into the ball game as a defensive replacement. There's something amazing to me. I know Atkins' time has been significantly reduced by the fact that he doesn't by the presence of Ian Stewart. Stewart has played most every day except against some real tough lefties. Atkins has not hit a home run at Coors Field since April 25th. His last 5 home runs all hit out on the road. Three and 1. And Atkins, the guy that's always hit well at Coors Field, 329 average. This year, though, just 248. Ball 4 to Garrett, and the Rockies, with 2 outs in the second, have their first base runner, and that'll bring up Barmes. There's 81 walks now for Doug Davis and Clayton Kershaw. Ronnie Gallardo is next on that list. It's interesting, 2 of the 3, I would put Davis in this category, are very tough to get hits off of. Gallardo and Kershaw. But they provide you with opportunities with the base on balls. 1-0 on Clint Barmes. Barmes 0 for 5, reached a couple of times last night by a walk. You can see what kind of stuff he has by that last graphic.
Well, you look to it, see what the opposition's doing whenever they have men on base, runners on, nobody on base. What is he, how's he pitch when that happens? Kershaw, with runners on base, the opposition's hitting $198. Wow.
And this is pop foul and out of play. Rockies at one juncture 15 and a half behind the Dodgers. And today they trailed Joe Torre's club by just 3 games on August the 25th. And Barmes reaches for one and pops it up for Kyle Collin. And he's got it. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Garrett Atkins walked, he's left on base. 1-0 as we go to the third. LA. To Colorado Wheels Online, or pick up a magazine at over 200 locations. By the great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. And by Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex. Find what you need when you need it and printing online at dexknows.com. Rafael Furcal will get his second look at Jason Hamill here. He grounded to second, and the first pitch is a fastball that misses by a yard. Dodgers got a run in the first. A Kemp broken bat single. He stole second and then came home on a base hit by Ethier. Tulowitzki gets the very quick Rafael Furcal by a couple of steps. 1 out, and that'll bring up Matt Kemp. Chris wants to know, because the game went into the late innings, do you think the Rockies will be tired for this series? Do you think they'll be able to keep the fire going? You know, it reminds me of the old Joe Namath line. Somebody said, "Hey Joe, I heard you stayed out till 4 in the morning." He said, "Yeah." He said, I went to bed at 4 and got 8 hours sleep. Got up at noon. The game was at 1. Still got 8 hours sleep. You know, not to make light of it, was last night a long game? Are guys like Yorvi Torrealba in particular fatigued? You bet. But I think George made a really good point a couple of days ago. This time of year, that fatigue, when it hits 6:30 or 7 o'clock, goes away pretty quickly when you're in it.
Absolutely it does. And I think that's the biggest difference. These guys couldn't wait to get back on the field because you feel that magic. You feel that atmosphere of your opportunities to have success. I mean, that's the one thing I think more than anything else. A lot of these guys, hey, they get home at midnight, they got kids. Clint Barmes' son, I'll guarantee you, Dad, let's get up. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. He was out here at the park with him this afternoon, running around in the dugout with Clint's friends in town.
Well, to that point, actually, Summer Barmes, Clint's beautiful wife, did him a huge favor. There's a base hit again for Ethier. In that, as much as Clint loves playing with Wyatt early in the morning, she realized that her husband needed a good night's rest. It was a late night, and actually got up early. They went out for a while, and Clint was able to, as he said, he woke up about 10, realized the family wasn't there, and he got to sleep in till noon. So players, George, and you can address this, players know how to get their rest. Veteran players, the Rockies, they take care of themselves.
They know it's 162 games. It's not a surprise. They know what they're doing, what they have to do to win games. They've obviously figured that part out.
Manny just won for his last 12. He has no home runs and just 1 RBI his last 11 games. And the unthinkable happened in some sections of Dodger Stadium and maybe even Mannywood on Sunday. He had an error. He was 0 for 4. He got booed. And it was just a few months ago, before the suspension, when there were many who felt like Manny had reached and maybe even eclipsed for a short period of time the stardom in LA of Kobe Bryant. Two 2-0 on Ramirez. Two and one.
Good velocity, good location, 93, 94 mile an hour fastball on the inner half of the plate where Manny can't extend particularly easy on the baseball.
And that's a base hit to left. 5th hit of the ball game for the Dodgers already. And with 2 outs, James Loney will come up. He hit a sharp ground ball to second baseman Barmes back in the 1st to end the 1st inning.
Well, very good low ball hitter, but this ball stayed right at about above the knee area. Watch everything shifts back, freeze, lock, and hold. Foot straight up, straight down, and hands explode on the baseball. And Manny Ramirez just a very, very, very good hitter.
We've told this story before. Hamill, very good out on the road, not so good at home this year. Something he's got to turn around.
And his ERA at home, 7.02. Out on the road, 2.88. Big difference. Daytime, nighttime, 364 in the daytime, 499 earned run average at night.
Loney hits it in the air to left field. Spilborghs is there. And 2 men left aboard in the 3rd. Rockies trailing 1-0, looking for their first hit against Clayton Kershaw. To the bottom of the third inning. We got some rain earlier in the downtown area and south of Denver, but it is a gorgeous night. Beautiful sunset. Chris Iannetta, Jason Hamill, and E.Y. Jr. to face Clayton Kershaw. Why has it been on a semi-regular basis of late? We're talking about the Rockies looking for their first hit, and we're well into the ballgame.
Suspense. Keep you on the edge of your seat.
It's been working, because usually at the end of the night we go home smiling. But the first few innings have been trying. And that's inside on Chris, 1-1. Iannetta had a base hit in that 14th inning. As the Rockies rallied for 5. Rockies 17 games above 500 for the second time ever. And this is in the air to right field. Ethier has knees in play. The only other time there was 17 over, the final game. Game 163 2 years ago when the Rockies beat San Diego. Tonight's injury report is brought to you by the Exempla Lutheran Medical Center. Dexter Fowler, who fouled the ball off his knee in the 14th inning last night, had an MRI. He has a deep bone bruise, and he will be out for at least 15 days. Hamill fouls that pitch off. And there it is. Dexter was down for a while and somehow got up, worked out a walk, and hobbled around the bases.
And hobble is the right word. I mean, once he could get going into second base, he was trying to stop on that leg. It was very painful.
He told me he almost fell. He showed the footage last night when he was going into second base. And his knee almost gave out. Fortunately for Dex, the next 2 times he had to move on base were after walks. So he literally could walk to the next base or hobble. And Hamill is gone. That's 3 strikeouts. Kendra wants to know what happens when a batter is injured, can't finish his at bat. What would have happened if Fowler couldn't finish his at bat when his count was 3-2? Somebody would have had to come off the bench and replace him and adopt that 3-2 count. Problem is, Jim Tracy, I mean, it would have had to been someone literally like Josh Fogg.
Nobody else was left.
So the second at bat for Eric Young Jr. Hit a fly ball to right his first time up. And this is on the ground to short. For Kyle. Gets him by a step. You get a glimpse at the great speed of Eric Young Jr. 1-0 as we go to the 4th. prior to Spielborg's 14th inning grand slam last night, who was the last player to hit a grand slam in the 14th inning or later to win a game.
This is a pretty neat note. The answer to this is pretty cool.
Casey Blake, Russell Martin, Orlando Hudson. And Blake gets spun around. It's 2-0. Hamill pitched a wonderful game at Dodger Stadium on the 1st of July. He lost 1-0. He pitched a complete game. He went 8 innings. This ball high and deep left field. And Blake has hit it out. So Blake on his 36th birthday, a single and now a home run. His 16th of the year, RBI number 70 for Blake, and it's 2-0.
On a 2-0 count after getting behind with a fastball, came back trying to go to the inner half. Drew mentioned 36 years old at this point. This is an intelligent big league hitter. So he'll trick you sometimes to make you think to come back to an area. He did, and he made it pay for it.
Russell Martin takes a strike. That's one of the things the Dodgers were hoping for, that Coors Field would cure their offensive ills. And you take the case of Casey Blake. He was hitting 178, 8 for 45 with 17 strikeouts in his last 13 games coming in. He had a line drive single and a towering home run to left center in his first 2 at bats at Coors Field. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. The Rockies without a hit so far.
Russell Martin, his first 3 years in the big leagues, his average was 285. He averaged 14 home runs and 74 RBIs. This year, 258, 4 and 38. You wonder what has happened, but I look at all the games he caught those first 3 years, over 150.
Now the power's down considerably. He had been a guy that played literally every day behind the plate. Even last year, if you remember, George, on the days where Joe Torre in quotations would give him a break, he'd play third base.
Had to have his bat in the lineup. He wanted to be able to steal bases, but even that has dropped way down.
Curveball a little loopy. It's 3-2. Dodgers on this date last year were 65 and 65. In second place, 3 games behind Arizona. As they go on and catch the Diamondbacks. On the ground is short. 1 out. Orlando Hudson coming up. A reminder, Colorado State Rams football season tickets are on sale now. Mini plans available as well. Visit their website at csurams.com for more details. Rams football, defend the fort.
Good matchup in San Francisco as the Giants got home. Matt Cain's on the hill versus Dan Herron.
Real good matchup. Rockies will see Matt Cain on Sunday. Rockies are going to see a ton of pitching at AT&T Park. They're going to see Tim Lincecum on Friday. And the Giants will see Ubaldo Jimenez. And Saturday they'll see Zito again. Sunday will be Cain. Two-strike count on Orlando Hudson. Need a comebacker his first time up.
What a if you're not already a season ticket holder, the best way to guarantee your opportunity to purchase 2009 postseason tickets to make a deposit on a 2010 season ticket. If you want to do that, why don't you just purchase one of the stretch run ticket packages. It'll run through August 31st. You got to do this for August 31st, and it'll give you an opportunity to get postseason tickets. 2 ways to do it. And do it quickly. 303 Rockies, or go online to ColoradoRockies.com.
That may be the best curveball we've seen tonight from Hamill.
More velocity, stayed back, kept his hand up on top of the baseball. It created that good, hard hammer on the outer half of the plate. Basically an unhittable pitch when it's that far away from the left-handed bat.
Here's Kershaw. He struck out his first time. No swing. Just watching Ron Kolpa down that third base line. He's taking a couple steps in now. He's deeper than most third base umpires with nobody on.
I've noticed with some umpires, particularly down the lines, where they'll get a little bit deeper too, so it helps them with the advantage of seeing the flight of the baseball down, particularly at dusk, where it's hard to watch the flight of a baseball in fair or foul territory.
I'm looking down that line. We had the Tulowitzki ball, George, last week that he hit over the foul pole. And I'm thinking it's very, very difficult to tell. Especially when you're running, the eyes, start to move around a little bit. This time of night, here's the 1-2.
Well, a lot of guys, a lot of umpires will take about 8-9 steps, and you'll see them just roll with the baseball and try to follow it and track it that way versus sprinting out a lot of times, so they don't have that adjustment with their eyes. You rely on a couple of guys to say fair or foul. That's a home plate umpire and your third base umpire or first. Hard for the guy out in the middle of the infield to see those. A lot of times what they track or look for is to see the ball on that side of the foul pole. Dale Scott's been around a while.
Line drive back at Hamill. Wasn't hit as hard as it looked. Hamill makes the catch. In the inning, Casey Blake hits a home run to left center field. It's 2-0 LA. Dodgers 2, Rockies nothing. Bottom of the fourth inning. Colorado trying to pick off their first hit. Ryan Spilborghs will lead it off. Geico quote of the day from Jim Tracy on a conversation he had with Tony La Russa before the Dodgers captured the 04 division title under Tracy. It'll be a taste you get in your mouth, and I can promise you this, it'll never ever go away. your job going forward will be trying to get people that have never had that taste to understand what it's all about, understand why we go to spring training. It's Jim Tracy recounting a conversation with Tony La Russa.
Well, I think one of the things for the players, once you go once to a World Series, postseason playoffs, you feel like you're going to go every single year, and it's very difficult to repeat and to keep all the pieces in place unless you are the New York Yankees and just have an enormous payroll.
That's why reporters who cover this team on a casual basis will invariably ask the Ryan Spilborghs, the Todd Heltons, the Brad Hopps about the comparisons of this 09 team to the 07 team, and they want nothing to do with going there. 07 was 07. It was a wonderful ride. This is a different team, a different year, and in some respects they feel like, because they were still caught up in 07 early last year, it got their season off on the wrong foot and never recovered. So they're all about this year and not looking back upon 07 and making any sort of comparisons. 2-2 on Spilborghs. Ryan 4 for 9 with a couple of home runs in his matchups with Clayton Kershaw. And the Rockies will see another left-handed pitcher tomorrow, and a good one in Randy Wolf. That's a fair ball. Helton coming up, 1 out. Let's check another email. This from Nick in Conifer. Can you explain how trades with waivers works after the trade deadline? Any chance the Rockies are looking at adding another bat, or perhaps I would go one step further, adding perhaps another pitcher? Nick in Conifer, George.
Well, you got to go through the waivers, and what that means, you're offered to the other 29 teams, and once you clear, then you can be traded. A lot of times, if a team claims a player, they got 24. If I'm not mistaken, 24 hours to take you off the waiver. If they don't take you off, obviously you absorb that contract and you absorb that player. But a lot of times, teams will call when they know this Rockies put a claim on a pitcher, and they'll call and say, "Well, look, I'm going to pull him off, but if you want to make a trade, I'll trade this guy and this guy for the guy you got a claim on." But you can't go and make a trade until you clear waivers prior to August 31st and into September. To be active on the roster, you got to be for postseason. You got to be there on August 31st, or replace injury for injury. It gets confusing. But the non-waiver trade line, July 31st, you can trade anybody you want to up to that time.
2-2, and what George means by, if a player got hurt in the postseason, trading injury for injury, you can't. If it was a pitcher, you can't say, well, in the next series we're going to now substitute in an outfielder. It would have to be a pitcher for a pitcher.
You can't change around your roster a whole lot.
That's a base hit. The Rockies first. Ramirez is going to field it out of the corner, and Helton has his 505th career double. And with 1 out, a runner in scoring position to boot.
Well, there's the Helton fan club. They've been here an awful long time. Right down the line, right out of the hand, four-seam fastball, outer half of the plate. Helton just taking. Boy, look at that head, neck concentration. Wow. Right down into that corner. Manny Ramirez, you watch this. Look at Helton's contact on this baseball. Wow. You talk about tracking a ball with the zone.
Outside on Tulowitzki. Now, the Rockies played the Dodgers very frequently in the first couple of months, which naturally coincided with the time frame where the Rockies did not play very good baseball, and thus their 2-10 record, and also why Troy Tulowitzki has miserable numbers this year against the Dodgers, because you'll recall the first couple of months Troy wasn't hitting very well. 4 for 46 against LA this year with 16 strikeouts. But he has plenty more against the LA Dodgers this year where he can turn those numbers around. I say plenty more, 6 ball games. Perhaps he'll start right here. 1-1 with Helton at second. The Rockies trailing 2-0. You know, Manny Ramirez, George, gets maligned for his lackadaisical play at times in left field. And the left field at Coors Field is a handful because of the room you have to cover.
Well, it's just in the gap area that he's got to worry so much about. And I think Kip will take more of the gap. He's going to take down the line, a left field line, but it can't expose an outfielder for lackadaisical play, lack of ability to play a position. Coors Field's left field probably exposes that more than any other left field in baseball.
Two and two on Troy Tulowitzki. None of the control issues that you've heard about and seen at times in the past with Kershaw. And most recently his last start when he threw 97 pitches in 3 2/3. Joe Torre had to go get him. That has not reared its head yet tonight. Tulowitzki with 30 RBIs since the All-Star break. That's among the top half dozen or so players in the National League. Ryan Howard has 37 ribbies. He's on that list with guys like Ryan Braun, Ryan Zimmerman, Prince Fielder, Carlos Lee, Brian McCann. Good company. Outfield very deep for Tulowitzki. And it's a pop-up.
In on the hands, 95 miles an hour.
Time for What Do You Know, brought to you by Radio Shack as Brad Hopp comes to the plate. With a .360 career batting average against Los Angeles, Brad Hopp and Gary Sheffield are tied for the highest career averages among active players. Sheffield, a former Dodger. Our Radio Shack What Do You Know? Brad struck out looking his first time up. One and one.
Last night, Hopp facing the left-hander. They would take the ball. Zito would have tried to run it in on his hands and try to get in there at 88, 89. Now, I understand big difference at 95. But I think with Kershaw, the positioning of Hopp's back leg, trying to stay totally out of that.
This ball's hit high in the air, deep center field, and we've got a tie. Brad Hopp taking Clayton Kershaw out to center field. For Hopp is 18th.
And that left-handed tandem of Helton and Hopp has carried this ball club a long time. Trying to keep the fastball. Just started to mention that Hopp has looked for the ball on that inner half from left-handers. Velocity a little bit more. Solid contact, good results. Left center field, deepest part of the park, and out of here.
Garrett Atkins takes low. And the buzz back in the ballpark after Kershaw had rolled along into the fourth inning. A double by Helton and a 2-out, 2-run home run by Brad Hopp. And when Brad hits one out. It's generally good news for the Rockies. They're 14-3 this year when he homers. Two balls and a strike on the former three-time UCLA All-American Garrett Atkins. And this is a diving stop by Furcal. Throw to first. And it gets away. Atkins looks over his right shoulder. Stayed in foul ground. And he'll stick around at first base.
Ball is hit extremely hard, but you got a young shortstop that's got a great arm.
Talking about Furcal. Young?
Yeah, he's still young, even though he's got 7 years in the big leagues. Still has a lot of range and one of the most powerful arms, but it skips too far out in front of Loney. See how that ball shot to its right instead of staying on course with the glove, and then it ricochets all the way over in front of the dugout. Atkins takes it on up the first base line.
So Barmes will hit. Barmes popped to short his first time. Rockies have won 7 of their last 8. Next pitch for Kershaw will be number 70.
'28th pitch made in this inning. Cruised along in those first 3, but ran into trouble here in the 4th. Back to these old habits of a lot of 2-1, 3-1, 3-2 counts.
This gets away. Martin's throw to second is not going to be in time. In fact, Orlando Hudson hadn't even gotten to the bag yet.
I think the ball was on time. Nobody got there to catch the baseball.
Yeah, that's a more accurate description. Wild pitch, and the Rockies have the go-ahead run at second.
Ball didn't get very far away from Martin, only about 7-8 feet. It was a pop up into the air that he caught, and then he throws it right over the top of the bag. Hudson's not there. Good thing it didn't get away from anybody, because Furcal hadn't moved an inch. Little mistakes like that during this area for the Rockies is where they've capitalized. Get a runner in scoring position, 2 outs, get a base hit, put him out the top.
Outfield-wise, when you look at center fielders, there's styles. Andrew Jones, who played briefly for the Dodgers, was a guy who always played a shallow center field. As we pull out and see Matt Kemp, you'll realize he likes to play a very deep center field. I point that out because it gives you virtually no shot on a base hit to throw out a runner at the plate, even a runner who has average speed like Atkins.
The only difference, he has a better advantage for him as a player coming in on the ball versus going back. So that's why he doesn't want to play deeper. The other thing is he's got great speed and a plus arm. So if there is a ball on a line drive, better chance. But the big gamble you run is that right there. A little blooper like that gets out into the outfield.
Well, the Rockies get even in the inning. They get their first hit, a help double, and then Brad Hopp hits one 4 miles to center field, 2-2. Hyundai dealers. Now with Hyundai Assurance, buy any new Hyundai and get a whole year's worth of gas for $1.49 per gallon. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service, warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. Rockies have caught the Dodgers. It's 2-2 as we go to the top of the fifth, top of the order. And Rafael Furcal getting his third look at Jason Hamill. He's allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. And it's an 0-2 count on Furcal, who's hit a ground ball to second and a ground ball to short. In the air to center field, a chance for Eric Young Jr. And his first big league chance, he handled nicely, and that ball was well tagged. He got a good jump on a pretty good route, George.
It was a very good route on the fly ball to center field. As he took off after this ball, he's worked very, very hard at the AAA level, and then in this fall, and then when he got here today, Glenn Allen Hill spent time with him. Speed can outrun a lot of mistakes and make up a lot of distance. Perfectly played by Ewok.
That'll bring up Matt Kemp, a single and a ground ball to third. Fastball just inside, ball 1.
12 of 20 first pitch strikes for Jason Hamill in this ball game. Working ahead, always a positive. The one ball he got hurt on by Blake as he's behind in the count.
This ball on the line towards Spilborg. He'll slide, make the grab. 2 outs. Now let's visit with Alana Rizzo with tonight's Great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. Alana?
All right, Drew, thanks very much. Chris Iannetta behind the dish tonight. Your Torrealba, a very extended night last night, as you were mentioning before. You know, if the Rockies had just tied the game in the bottom of the 14th and had to defend the top of the 15th, your Torrealba would have been playing first base. I asked him about that earlier today, and I said, have you played much there? He said, you know, I've actually played first base a lot of times in winter ball in Venezuela. He said, I've had plenty of repetitions there. He goes, so I think I would have been pretty comfortable. He's even spent some time in the outfield as well. He said, I don't think I would have been as comfortable or as good as Todd Helton, as he laughed. I said, I don't think Todd Helton would be as comfortable behind the plate, guys.
Well, you know, first base is a spot that a lot of catchers later on in their career, if they can still hit, find themselves. Here's the 0-1 on Ethier. 1-1. The Rockies, George, did not do this the first 2 times up with Ethier, but they've now put on a shift. 3 on the right side. Ethier's 2 for 2.
Well, the first time up, he came up with a man on first base. The next time, there was nobody on. There was 2 outs. So
right center field and deep, and this is going to short hop the wall. Hop firing to second, not in time.
Am I mistaken? Wasn't Ethier in just a horrible slump when we were in L.A. the last time in? I mean, he wouldn't even play. They held him out of the game because he was swinging so poorly.
He was, but that's not been the case in August, and it's certainly not the case tonight.
Okay, one-handed, a lot of strength here. Look at that follow through on the ball. Just drove it to right field, out over the head of Brad Hop on a fastball. It was down and away. Long swing, good plate coverage, and a lot of power.
He can hit. You can describe it any way you want. Ethier can hit. First base is open, even though it's right on right, even though Manny's not been swinging the bat particularly well. He is Manny Ramirez, and Jim Tracy says we'll pass.
Well, good look the last time up. He hit the line drive right at Spilborg's for a base hit. The other time the ball was hit extremely hard right at shortstop. Why are you going to let this guy do it? He has made his livelihood driving in runs and hitting the ball over the fence. A chance in a tie ball game, 2-2. See you later. Go on to first base.
So James Loney will be coming up. If your windshield has any damage, call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. Loney 0 for 2 tonight. He's 2 for 7 lifetime against Jason Hamill, including a home run and a triple. Ball 1. 78 pitches in for Jason Hamill. Loney 8 for his last 54 at the plate. Maybe that contributed as well to the decision to pass on Ramirez. 1-1. Loney is hitting much better out on the road. 313, 240 at Dodger Stadium. And a ground ball foul. One of the most impressive stats for me about Loney, and a testament to how good a hitter he is the fact that Loney has walked 52 times and struck out only 51.
A lot of contact made. The average may not be up. Hits at 277, but he drives in runs. 71 on this season, just 7 home runs. The 7 home runs surprised me. Thought he'd have more home runs than that. The RBIs don't.
And he may develop more home run power in time. 1-2, Hamill to Loney. He's got him. And Hamill allows himself a mini fist pump as he gets the strikeout with 2 men aboard. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. It's a 2-2 affair. And Chris Iannetta, Jason Hamill, and Eric Young Jr. in his major league debut, called up when the Rockies had to put Dexter Fowler on the disabled list. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Alana Rizzo. Clayton Kershaw's first pitch is high, ball 1 on Iannetta. He hit a fly ball to Andre Ethier in right in the 3rd inning. That's a strike. You made a point earlier, George, and it's one this time of year that comes up with contending teams when they suffer an injury. How do you handle it? There are some organizations that immediately have to look outside their organization. And then there are ones like the Rockies who on occasion will do that, i.e. a Rafael Betancourt, who's been terrific. Joe Beimel, who was added from Washington, swung on a miss 2-2. But more often, they're going to reach into a deep farm system. And they can brag about all their position players. Spilborghs, Helton, Tulowitzki, Hop, Atkins, Barmes, Iannetta, all homegrown tonight. They have an injury, and they go get another homegrown kid in Eric Young Jr., who has turned himself into a very good-looking prospect. Not bad for a guy who was drafted in the 22nd round.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I mean, you get guys like this, the reason they go down late in the draft like that, obviously he's put on a lot of strength. He's not a very tall guy, much like his father. So when they go down into the draft that low, a lot of times, what do you do well? Well, at the time, he ran well. Didn't hit very well, didn't have a very good arm. But now all of a sudden he's turned himself into an above average defensive player, and by going to center field even more. And he's put on a lot of strength too, at the same time. So he's turned himself into a ball player. But the big key to all of it is the fact that you have the ability. I mean, you get hurt in the NBA, you got to go dig around in down in the developmental league, try to find a player, trade for a guy off somebody's bench. The NFL, there's no secondary place to go look. In the big leagues, you got the minor leagues, go get it. Give them the opportunity. That's why it's there.
Casey Blake throws out Chris Iannetta, 1 out. Affleck trivia question and Affleck trivia answer. This is a good one, and it's apropos prior to Ryan Spilborgh's game and a grand slam last night. Who was the last player to hit a walk-off grand slam in the 14th inning or later? He's now part of the organization, folks. Jason Giambi in 2002 with the Yankees against the Minnesota Twins, a couple of your old former employers. Oh, and 2 on Hamill. Giambi tonight playing his first ball game for the Colorado Springs Sky Sox against Reno, hitting in the 3-hole. We know he walked his first time up. We'll give you an update as to what he's done since then. Well, he hadn't done anything. You know what he's done? He's playing cards in the clubhouse, Frage, because there's a rain delay. He's teaching some youngsters
it's on his third hot dog and some nachos about right now.
And Hamill's gone. Two outs, and little Ely will be coming up. Time to go outside the box with Jack in the box. Well, Eric Young, his dad, made his big league debut the 30th of July in '92 with the Dodgers. Spent 5 years with Colorado, hit .295. He had 180 stolen bases. He was traded in '97 to the Dodgers again for Pedro Astacio. An enormous part of Rocky's history, and there's the first big league hit for EY Jr. And we're going to try to find Dad a little bit later on. A lot of the crowd. There he is. We got him. And, oh, man, the happiest man in the house. You know, George, one day we're going to be showing a camera shot of you. I don't know if it'd be the first hit, but when Parker hopefully one day stands on a big league mound, you're going to be in that same mode.
There can't be anything prouder right now than this base hit line drive. He's hitting the ball hard 3 times now in his big league career. 2 of them caught. That one was not.
And ordinarily in the press box, no cheering allowed. They made an exception tonight. Well, you got a lefty on the hill. And that always is a more difficult proposition for a base stealer.
And plus, you don't know the left-hander very well.
No.
Well, they may have crossed a little bit in AAA last year, in AA.
And the comfortable thing, George, for EY going into the Rockies big league clubhouse today is because he was up in spring training. He knows all the guys, and over the last couple of years, it's not like he's walking in and introducing himself.
Part of the family.
Yep. And the same for Matt Merton. He was exceptionally well received when He walked into the clubhouse today. Spielborgs with an 0-1 count. 0-2. Been able to throw that curveball for strikes. Helton got it started last inning with a 1-out double. And then 2 doors down, Brad Hopp hit one out to tie the score at 2.
See, I thought that might have been an opportunity for EY to take off. And the reason I say that, 0-2 count, he throwing 2 breaking balls. Typically following this to Spielborg's very good fastball hitter. Try to bounce one down into the zone on him. But yet still trying to get a read on Kershaw's delivery to the plate.
He got a jump, but he also gets picked off. Kershaw able to make a non-balk move to get Eric Young Jr. So it goes as a caught stealing. And that'll close the book on the 5th inning. EY got his first big league hit. Dad was here to enjoy it. 2-2 ball game. Two-two, bottom of the 5th inning. Our decks this date in history, August 25th, 1995. Both leadoff hitters. Bernard Gilkey for the Cardinals. Trinidad Hubbard for the Rockies. Homer in the 1st inning, marking the first time this has happened in the National League since 1986. The Cards would go on to win the ball game 8-3. He knows a thing or two about leadoff home runs. Casey Blake at the plate on his 36th birthday. He's given himself a couple of presents. A line single to left and a home run to left center. Hamill gets the hammer over. It's 0-2.
Very efficient with his pitches too. 53 strikes, 30 balls. He's been able to control the curveball and the fastball, minimize any kind of situation. Remember, it was a 2-0 fastball that Blake hit out to left field, not an 0-2 pitch. Working ahead in the count obviously makes things a little easier on a pitcher.
See if he goes back to the hook. He does, and comeback. Good pitch, great location, 1 out. Russell Martin coming up. Time to check another email. Chris writes in, Hamill is close to getting 10 wins on the season. How often does it occur when 5 starters on a team all have more than 10 wins. It doesn't happen very frequently.
Well,
tell you that.
I told Drew before the ball game today, there's 22 pitchers in the National League with 10 or more wins. The Rockies have 4 of those. So, I mean, you're looking at 25% of it. It's even going to grow more with Hamill.
Russell Martin 0 for 2. 1-1. Hamill at 8-7 coming in. Well, it's not only the 10 wins, George. The Rockies have 3 guys with at least 12 wins. De La Rosa has 12 wins. Jimenez has 12 wins. Marquis has 14. And that shouldn't get lost in what occurred late last night, the walk-off grand slam by Spilborghs. How good was Marquis for 8 innings?
It was outstanding. What he thought, and basically talked with me a little bit in the dugout today, or in the locker room, I should say, is that he went to the hard slider. He said he thought it was one of the best sliders he had in the latter part of the ball game, the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th inning. When he needed an out, that's what he went to.
That's an out, gloved in the air by Atkins. And that was big. That was headed down the left field line, so Martin robbed of a double. And there are 2 outs and nobody on.
It's all about reaction. 1-step dive, hope you can get to the baseball, get some leather on it. Atkins does just that. Almost tore all the way through the glove of Garrett Atkins.
Orlando Hudson, a comebacker and a strikeout. Boy, you'd love to get him, George. The old deal where if you can get the 8-hole for the final out in an inning, you got the pitcher spot leading off the following inning. 2-2 ball game, top of 6. And it's 2-0 on Hudson.
As you watch that ERA by innings, look right here. His best time for pitching is that 2nd and 3rd time through, which sometimes can be the most difficult time for a pitcher, 3.00 in that 4th through 6th inning. It also tells you if it gets expanded, and against Washington, I know he worked deeper into the ball game. You get around that 6th inning and a certain number of pitches thrown, you can see a guy's ERA jump.
On the ground and through the left side, so the Rockies will see the pitcher, Clayton Kershaw, here in the 6th inning. Let's check out tonight's Quest high-speed pitch. Kershaw has hit 96, Hamill's hit 93. It's brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. 94 pitches in for Hamill. Kershaw, strikeout. And a soft line drive right back at Jason Hamill. See, I don't quite understand that, George. Help me out from a pitcher's perspective. Why would you check on Hudson here? I mean, if he goes and he gets thrown out, you got the pitcher leading off next inning.
He may not have been comfortable standing over the rubber versus stepping off on this over and pick off. What happens if you do pick off Hudson at first base and then you do have the pitcher? A lot of different things happen with it. A lot of times you may not feel comfortable just standing on the rubber at that time. You don't want to just step off. So in your mind, you put a snap throw over there. Like you just said, why throw over there? Hudson may be thinking the same thing. You're not going to throw over here. Now there's out. You're out of the inning. You got a pitcher leading it off.
Okay, good explanation. Trying to get in your minds, man. You guys pitch. We watch.
That's why they're such a special commodity.
Yeah.
That's why you only get to have a certain number of those guys.
Clayton Kershaw, the 7th pick in the 06 draft. Highland Park High School outside of Dallas.
Well, the first 10,000 adults 21 and older through the gates on Monday, September the 7th, will receive a tote bag courtesy of Coors. That's also a $49 pack. That's where you get the 4 seats, the parking, the 4 Coca-Colas, 4 hot dogs, all for $49. Cincinnati's in town. Purchase your ticket at any of the Rockies ticket outlet or go online to ColoradoRockies.com.
1-2, 2-2. Kershaw very close friends with a high school teammate by the name of Matthew Stafford. First pick in the draft out of the University of Georgia for the Detroit Lions. And Kershaw is gone. So Hamill fans Kershaw, his 4th punch out of the game. Middle 6, 2-2 ball game. Spilborghs to lead it off. Eric Young Jr. in his 3rd big league at bat. Drives the ball through the left side of the infield for his first major league hit. And that is our Frost Brewed Coors Light Freeze Can. There's Dad. Flew up from Texas tonight and got here in time to see his namesake make his major league debut. Spilborghs a ground ball to 3rd and a ground ball to 1st. He was at the plate when EY was picked off last inning. One of the many odd things in last night's ball game that almost occurred. Several odd things did occur. You had a player in Gonzalez playing who couldn't swing the bat, had to bunt. Rockies had to have Adam Eaton swing the bat for himself, and that's happened in ball games that go deep into the night. But it's not often that the pitcher walks on 5 pitches forcing in a run. But had, let's say, Spilborghs just singled George a couple of runs in and tied it at 4 and didn't do any further damage to win the ball game, Jim Tracy had already concocted his lineup defensively for the top of the 15th because he knew he couldn't play Fowler. Fowler was hurt, hobbled around the bases. Torrealba was going to go from behind the plate to 1st. Iannetta would go behind the plate. Ian Stewart was going to go from 3rd base to left field. That is a 1-hopper to 2nd. Atkins, who was playing 1st, was going to go to 3rd. Spilborghs, who was in left, was going to go to center. And Adam Eaton, this is the fun part, Adam Eaton was going to go from pitcher to right field, and Matt Hergis, the last man in the bullpen, was going to take the hill. So your new right fielder is going to be Eaton. Look at him. breaking ball over Todd's head. People not happy, but it was a curveball.
Well, right off of this thing, Helton just peels out of the way of the baseball, spins to the backside of it, rolls away from it. Remember, he got a fastball down in a way that he shot down the left field line. It was 94 miles an hour for a double.
And all of a sudden, he's lost control of the hook.
Well, a lot of that is the grip of the baseball. You know, a lot of times you try to take velocity off on a curveball, and when you do that, you lose the grip of it. Rick Honeycutt saying, you know, let's just challenge and go right at the fastball and put it where you need to.
2-2. I want to talk about the model of consistency for Helton. In April this year, he hit .303. In May, he hit .320. June, he hit .309. July, he hit .349. And thus far in August, he's hitting .325. And that was not a Todd Helton swing.
On a slider, not a curveball at 82.
2 outs, and that'll bring up Tulowitzki. Tonight's Excel Energy fun fact: only one walk-off grand slam has been hit later than the 14th inning. July 28, 1951, Clyde Vollmer of the Red Sox hit one in the 16th to beat the Indians at Fenway. There's a strike on Tulowitzki. When it comes to your water heater, 120 is the magic number. Overheating your water beyond 120 can be wasteful and unsafe. Learn more energy facts at responsiblebynature.com. Tulowitzki with a line drive to second, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Kershaw. We move on to the 7th. The Rockies 2, the Dodgers 2. Rockies trailing the Dodgers by 3 in the NL West. September 6th, the date, 4:30. Our coverage begins with the 2009 Rocky Mountain Showdown between Colorado State and the University of Colorado. And another showdown fact for you: former CSU running back Wayne Schneider holds the record for the longest carry by a Ram against Colorado. He ran for an 83-yard touchdown back in 1958. CSU beat the Buffs that afternoon, 15-14. And again, the ball game on September 6th, right here on FSN Rocky Mountain. Rafael Furcal at the plate, and he hits a bouncer to Todd Helton, 1 out.
Now looking down in the Rockies bullpen, Franklin Morales getting loose rather quickly.
I think if anybody's on base and Andre Ethier comes up, you'll see Morales. Jim Tracy trying to change the ways of the Rockies against the Dodgers. 2-10 this year, 69-44 against everyone else.
Here's the 1-0 to Matt Kemp. And did he offer at it? Nope, held up evidently. 2-0. Slider 3-0. Three and one on Kemp. Dodgers will travel to Cincinnati after 3 here in Colorado. Took something off. 3-2.
Well, the schedule really favors the Los Angeles Dodgers in September. They have Arizona and San Diego, then Arizona again, Pittsburgh, Washington, Pittsburgh, San Diego. Teams are without a 500 record. Now they have to play the Rockies for 3. They have to play San Francisco for 6.
By contrast, the Rockies will open up the month of September, George, against the Mets, Arizona, and 4 against the Reds, all here at Coors Field. All 3 of those teams well below 500. And this ball is hit well to right, but not well enough. Brad Hopp has it. 2 outs. Kevin, in the spring, followed EY Jr. Played second base for the Sky Sox. Is it a hard adjustment to move to center field after playing second base most of the year? I do want to point out, I'll let George handle this, but I do want to point out that lately he's been getting time in center field. Last year during the Arizona Fall League, where he was terrific, he played almost exclusively in the outfield.
All in the Fall League. In the last 2 weeks, he's played 2 out of every 3 games into center field. In Oklahoma City, 3 out of 4 was in center field.
Andre Ethier has been the toughest out for Hamill. 2 line singles and a line double, all to right field. The Rockies have the shift on. Hamill's backed up his performance in Washington. He's done a very nice job tonight. 2-1.
Ooh, pretty good pitch there. The Rockies fans, you can get power tickets. It includes a midfield box ticket plus $10 to $15 in concession depending on the game. This diamond deal is only available online at ColoradoRockies.com.
And Hamill misses there. And that'll bring up Manny Ramirez. ...113 pitches in for Hamill. Ramirez in the game. Grounded to short, a base hit, and an intentional walk. One of the staples of a Jim Tracy managed team is that if he believes in you, especially as a starting pitcher, he's going to let you go. And it has worked out wonderfully well for the Rockies since he took over. You saw it last night with Marquis.
By doing that, it puts confidence back into the starting pitcher, knowing you don't have to look over your shoulder in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning in a tight ball game. I think that's been the biggest key to it. The confidence comes from a manager, and then the confidence goes back from the player.
And he also believes that You know, when you've worked that hard to get to a certain place in the ball game, tie ball game like this, tie ball game like last night, the last thing a starting pitcher wants to do is go upstairs, see somebody else perhaps give up a run, and you got to wear it. Not that it's about the individual, but let the individual have the opportunity to work himself out of it. Here's the 2-1 to Ramirez.
See, that told me with the way he approached that, he thought they were going to go away from him, because he started to dive really hard with that lead shoulder and elbow, and then the ball was inside and it locked him up and froze him. See, as he starts to come after this ball, and it's like, whoop, not going to get to it. He stopped everything. Be careful about going back in there again, though.
Left field, and Spielborgs is right there. So Hamill on pitch number 118 retires Manny Ramirez with a man aboard. 2-2 ball game. Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Brad Hopp at the plate. Takes a breaking ball for ball one. Bottom of the 7th inning. Hopp, Atkins, and Barmis to face Kershaw. He's thrown 102 pitches now. Brad Hopp tied this thing up at 2 in the 4th with a towering home run to center field. For Hopp, it was his 18th home run, his 5th against left-handed pitchers. And he's a strikeout victim. Strikeout number 6 for Kershaw. And Kershaw's been very good, and Jason Hamill's been very good. You got to figure the Rockies will go to the bullpen next inning after 118 pitches from Hamill, and there's Ronald Belisario.
Well, he's been that 7th inning, 8th inning guy. I mean, they've mixed it around when tie ball game, and Joe Torre, he was up in the previous inning throwing.
And Torrey is going to remove the kid, and he's going to bring in Belisario with 1 out in the 7th inning. 2-2. We hope so. Our good friends at College Invest can help you get started. And they've asked me to help you dispel a common myth. You can use your College Invest savings anywhere in the country, from California to Florida to New York, whether it's a university, a junior college, or even a specialized trade school. Check them out, collegeinvest.org. My wife and I have done that for our 3 boys. We suggest you do the same. Great way to invest for college. 2-2 ball game, bottom of the 7th inning. This call to the pen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. So with Atkins coming up, 1 out in the 7th inning, the very gifted Ronald Belisario will take over. This will be his 51st appearance. This is an outstanding Dodger bullpen. Think back through the years, when was the last time the Dodgers did not have a lot of quality arms coming in late in the ball games? You think back to the 04 team for Jim Tracy. Of course, he had Gagne in the 9th. He had a younger and really tough Guillermo Mota, who's in his 2nd tour with the Dodgers. He's down there right now. You had Tom Martin throwing in the mid-90s on the left side. Loney picks up the low throw by Furcal. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Clint Barmas. Zane wants to know who has the best pen in the National League.
Well, I tell you, it's tough. I mean, you look at the Dodgers, you look at what the Rockies bullpen's done, 34-35. You look at the Cardinal bullpen, what it has been. I mean, there's a lot of them out there to pinpoint just one. I mean, right off the top of the head, just quick. I mean, I like what the Rockies bullpen has shaped itself into in the last 30 days. That's for sure. The most compliment you could give a team is what you used to give the San Diego Padres. When a game got to the 6th, it was over.
Game over. Bullpen ERAs. The Dodgers have the lowest in baseball.
Cincinnati and New York right now, they're not very high in the standings.
I think you always have to start in the 9th inning, work backwards, and you can't be much better than Houston Street has been for the Rockies this year. What a phenomenal season. 2-0 on Barmas. High fly ball, left field. Did he get it? Ramirez looking up, it's gone. Number 21 for Barmas, and the Rockies have a 3-2 7th inning lead.
His average in the month of August may not jump out and grab you, a little over 200, but the 7 home runs will. Add that to the total. Ball out over the plate. Barmas able to turn on it. Right versus right. Torrey tried to pull the right punches to get out of this inning. Didn't happen.
And Chris Iannetta Was right on that 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Belisario. Look again on the Hyundai cam.
Look at the fastball. It appeared it was going to be a slider that hung, but it looked more like something diving back to him. Maybe a backup slider. It backed up all right, about 12 rows in left field seats.
Oh, 2 on Iannetta. 3-2 Rockies in the 7th. Slowly hit to Fractal, and he's going to get Chris Iannetta. In the inning, Clint Barmas hits his 21st of the year. What a time for it. It gives the Rockies a 1-run lead as we go to the 8th. .70 road ahead, brought to you by E470 and Express Toll, the best way to save time and money. The Dodgers are here for a couple of more days, and the Rockies, after the Thursday afternoon ball game, will head to the city by the bay. 3 more with the Giants over the weekend. Monday, back home, will be an off day before the Mets come in, and September begins. Ian Stewart in the ball game defensively at third for Garrett Atkins, and on the mound is Franklin Morales. This call to the pen brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 800 Comcast. With Houston Street down tonight, at least on paper, it looks like Jim Tracy would like to have Morales in the 8th and Rafael Betancourt in the 9th.
Absolutely, that's what he can do, is try to piece this thing through together. This kid has earned the opportunity to come on and pitch in the 8th inning in a 1-run ball game. He's going to face Loney to start it out with, then he's going to get Blake. But with his fastball at 95 miles an hour, he can handle right-handers, obviously, as much as he can left-handers.
So James Loney, who's 0 for 3, will step in against Morales. And the first pitch, 95, 96 mile an hour fastball on the inside corner. 31,472 in attendance tonight. And that's strike 2. That was at 97 miles an hour. He has really grown into this role.
left-handers on the year, we've already mentioned this, but they have not done much against Morales. 111, right-handers 250. Finishing off hitters is what he has improved on more than anything. On an 0-2 count, nasty breaking ball at 77, and gets the strikeout to get the leadoff man, James Loney.
That'll bring up Casey Blake. Alana Rizzo has caught up with Eric Young Sr.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Of course, we had to talk to Eric Young Sr. when his son gets his first Major League at-bat in the Major League debut. Eric, first of all, welcome back to Coors Field. And how special is this for you to be able to see your son?
Oh, it's very special to see him in the big leagues and to be in the big leagues with at a place that I grew up as a player. So it's just, you know, I'm just so elated right now. I'm really speechless, and really I think I'm more nervous than he is.
You talked about the nerves. I asked Eric Young Jr. earlier today if you gave him any advice, and he said, you know, just play the game the same way you've been playing it. It's the same game. Is that correct? What else did you tell him?
I told him one thing that was told to me my first Major League game, and that was by Tony Gwynn. He told me to play hard and have fun, and I have a long career in this game, and I pass it on to my son. All
right, well, he's certainly nervous but excited, I'm sure, as Eric Young Sr. and Eric Young Jr.'s girlfriend, Victoria, are up here in the press box watching the Major League debut of one of their favorite people, guys.
Well, congratulations to the Young family. What a moment. What a night. And there's a comebacker. Franklin Morales stabs it, tosses it over to Todd Helton as if to say next. Casey Blake gone. And that'll bring up Russell Martin, who's 0 for 3.
Fifth time the pitcher has resulted in that out. EY in center field right now, and as a proud father sitting downstairs in this press box watching him play in the same stadium that he played in.
In the air down the right field line, and it is going to be a base hit for Martin.
Great effort by Hop coming over. You think it's going to go the other way. Not necessarily. I mean, that's the hardest part about it. Go over and just try to trap the baseball in a one-run game. Hop does a good job when he slid to just keep that ball in front of him. Remember, Martin, very good speed for a catcher. That ball gets by Hop. Into a little danger territory.
Orlando Hudson at the plate. Orlando's hitting .306 from the right side. Here's the 1-0, and it's 1-1.
First 10,000 fans to the gates on Wednesday, August 26th, will receive a Frontier Airlines mystery promotional card with a value ranging from $5 to $500. Purchase those tickets to the game versus the Diamondbacks at any one of the Rockies ticket outlets.
There's Betancourt starting to get loose. Again, no Houston Street tonight. There's a strike, 1-2. Nothing wrong with Houston. He just needs rest. He's been very, very busy. One and two on Hudson. Pitcher spot next, therefore it's Mark Loretta with a bat in the on-deck circle. On the ground is short. Easy play for Tulowitzki. And Hudson's retired. Morales has a terrific 8th inning. Middle of 8, Rockies 3, and the Dodgers 2. Two. A reminder, when the Rockies score 7 or more runs in a ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day between 4 and 6 in the afternoon, and you will receive 4 tacos for $1. And one of the 4 guys left over from when Jim Tracy was still managing the Dodgers, Hung-Chi Kuo, blessed with a great left arm. He will pitch at least the first part of the bottom of the 8th inning. Ian Stewart will lead off, and then it's the switch hitter Eric Young Jr. First pitch swung through. It's 0-1 on Ian Stewart. Stewart 0 for 4, 2 walks last night, and the breaking ball's in there. Pitches, Kuo strikes out. Ian Stewart. Tonight's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's. How about the first career knock for little EY Jr. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. See if EY can get aboard. With the Rockies an insurance run here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Spielborg's on deck. I like what Jim Tracy said before the ball game. He said, hey, we just like when we brought Gonzalez to the big leagues, we didn't bring up this young man to sit and watch. We brought him up to get him involved, and his whole life he's been a leadoff hitter, so he's going to be a leadoff hitter also tonight. You know, he's not running around, break him in slowly, put him in the 8 hole. This is what he does.
Why do anything else? Doesn't make sense. Well, why try to put him at 8, 7, 8, and try to hide him in a lineup? Put him where he's comfortable, see what he can do with it.
And Quo grabs it. If it gets over his head, it's going to be an infield hit.
Well, looking for the perfect place to entertain. Coors Field Suites, party facilities, picnic areas. They offer unique atmosphere designated to fit any event and any budget. Be sure to ask about the buy one, get one free offer. 303-312-2444. What a great way to entertain clients, friends, and family.
Spielborg lobs one to right. It's going to drop. Orlando Hudson made a really nice play. Getting to that baseball, spirited on one hop. Because Loney, with the angle he had to take, was going to overrun it. Would have given Spielborg perhaps an opportunity to hustle to second, look again.
Yeah, jammed right off the knuckles right here. You got both to the right side of the infield chasing after it. Doesn't spin too far away from Hudson.
Helton doubled and scored in the fourth. He came around on the Brad Hop two-run home run. That double in the fourth by Helton against Kershaw was the Rockies' first hit. 27 come from behind wins for the Rockies. 3 in the series against the Giants, trying to make it number 28. We're down 2-0. 2-0 on top. Ball 4. So Tulowitzki will come up with 2 on here in the bottom of the 8th. Good speed, and Spielborg's at second. Outfield very deep for Tulowitzki. And he takes a very big cut. It's 0-1. Down the line, fair ball. Extra bases. Here's Spielborg's coming home. Helton around third. He gets a green light. The throw to the plate is in time. Good tag by Martin. But Spielborg scores the 4th Rockies run on the double by Troy Tulowitzki. And the Rockies +2 heading to the 9th inning against the Dodgers at Coors Field. Call 1-800-BUY-TOUGH or visit them online at toughshed.com. And by the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. We've arrived at the top of the 9th inning at Coors Field. The Rockies at one juncture trail 2-0. They now lead the Dodgers 4-2. Coming up after the ball game, the typical happy recap with Tom Helm.
It is happy. We're going to talk about Brad Medicine. Brad Hopp with a big 2-run homer in this game. We're also going to talk about Junior Mint. EY Jr. making his Major League debut. And Northwest, we'll talk about the Rockies moving north in the NL West. It's all coming up right after the game. Drew?
All right, Tom. A couple changes to tell you about. Carlos Gonzalez is in center field for Eric Young Jr. So it's now Spilborghs in left, Hopp in right, and Cargo in center field. And Rafael Betancourt, who's been marvelous since being acquired from the Cleveland Indians in an 8th inning role, will be asked to get his first save in the 9th inning. And he'll face 9-1 and 2 in the Dodger lineup. So Juan Pierre will pinch hit and lead it off.
Now you're going to put speed at the top. Obviously, Joe Torre would like to send this being a one-run game, but the big base hit by Tulowitzki to give a little breathing room to Betancourt. Typical perfect leadoff man in a situation like this. Try to fit your lineup. I think the one thing Betancourt has done for me since he's been here is pound that strike zone. Fastball 90 to 93 miles an hour.
There's not a great deal of familiarity between the cast of offensive options for the Dodgers against Betancourt. Betancourt came from the American League. For Carl, who will hit next, is 0 for 1. Pierre is 0 for 1. Center field, and it's going to die in front of Carlos Gonzalez. So Juan Pierre continues to do his thing when given an opportunity. He was outstanding during the 50 games that Manny Ramirez was suspended. That insurance run is huge right now. Carl is 0 for 4 tonight. Juan Pierre is hitting .412 against the NL West this year. A strike. A reminder, if you have any windshield damage, call Elite Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or visit safelight.com.
The left-handed throwing Joe Beimel starting to get loose in the Rockies bullpen.
Ball and a strike on Carl Pierre at first. Strike 2.
Good location down on the outer half of the plate. Some late sink to it. Even though there's great speed in both positions by the Dodgers at the plate and at first base, don't necessarily want to get a ball lifted by Furcal.
Iannetta sets up away. And a base hit to right toward the gap. And Hop is going to fire it back in. And now you have the tying run at second base. A double by Furcal.
Out of the hand, you're wanting that fastball down. One in this area right here, and unfortunately it got up, and that allowed for call to put good wood on the baseball and hit that line drive into the gap in right center. Really good job by Hop to cut that thing off and get it back in, prevent Pierre from scoring, but also from Furcal going to third.
So Betancourt now must face arguably the team MVP for the Dodgers this year, Matt Kemp. Came in with a .312 average, 18 home runs, and 77 driven in. Not to mention that he has stolen 27 bases this year.
Concentrate on the one out. Infield's back. Try to double up. Don't try to make the perfect pitch, just make a pitch.
In the air to right center field. It'll get Pierre home. And now tagging is Furcal. Brad's throw is right on line, but not in time. So Matt Kemp does two things. He gets the run home, and he also moves Furcal to third. So the tying run 90 feet away with one out. And Andre Ethier, who is yet to be retired tonight, is at the plate. How do you play it?
Well, I think, you know, again, you've got the tying run at third base already. Ionetta's looking into the dugout. He asked if Beimel was ready. He is. He's going to go to the dugout and get a matchup of left on left, Ethier and Beimel. Because he can walk Manny Ramirez if he happens to strike out Ethier and face James Loney where you'd have left on left. It all has to start with the ability to get Andre Ethier out. Ethier's hit just a .197 against left-handers.
But he's 3 for 3 tonight. In any form, the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. So the Rockies pull the infield in. Ethier at the plate to face the former Dodger Joe Beimel, who made 216 appearances in a Dodger uniform between '06 and '08. Last year he was 5-1 with a 2.02 ERA and 71 appearances for LA. He's trying to get his former teammate Andre Ethier and keep for Col at third, and a curveball for a strike. Pulled foul. And Ethier a little upset with himself. Now Beimel in the driver's seat against Ethier.
Well, that's
an RBI single in the first, single, double, and a walk tonight.
That's the key to it all right there, is the fact that if you know, now you got 4 shots at him. You stay out of a hot zone with him. He struggled against left-handers.
The 0-2 is fouled off down the left field line. It's going to reach the seats. Again, if you're late to the party, the Rockies trailed 2-0. They tied it up on a Brad Hopp 2-run home run. They ended up taking a 4-2 lead to the 9th. Barmes gave them a 3-2 lead with a home run in the 7th. Tulowitzki doubled in a run in the bottom of the 8th. No Houston Street tonight. He's worked 5 of the last 6 ball games. Popped up, and Iannetta hoping he has a play. He will not. Is on deck, but I think the Rockies will pass on him. First things first, here's another 0-2 on Andre Ethier.
One thing about Joe Beimel, he doesn't give up the long ball, and the thing is, he will come right at you in the strike zone. Tough customer. 90 with the last fastball, and a very good location down.
Ethier's actually faced Beimel a couple of times in the past without success. Swung on and missed. And Beimel strikes out Ethier for the 2nd out. Everybody looking at Jim Tracy to see what they want to do with Ramirez. Here's the pitch again.
Fastball, thinking maybe breaking ball. That ball appeared to get by him in a hurry. Tracy's going to the bullpen and get Matt Daly, the right-hander, to come face Ramirez versus putting Ramirez on first, which would be the winning run. Seth Smith will come into the ball game. It would appear Ryan Spilborghs would come out of the ball game.
Rockies hanging on 4-3, 2 outs in the 9th. Here comes Matt Daly. 3. Manny Ramirez coming up, and the Rockies have called on Matt Daly to face him. Seth Smith is in left field. Daly has never faced Ramirez. For Col is at third base. Daly pitched in last night's 14-inning ball game. In fact, he pitched an inning and 2/3 of scoreless baseball, allowed just one hit and struck out a batter. Suffice it to say, this is the biggest moment of Matt Daly's brief major league career. And he's been very effective so far.
And the college coach that introduced him to Bill Guyvet is in the stands to watch it along with his son. How cool is that?
At the knees.
He has not shied away from a challenge this year. If he's going to get beat, he's going to get beat with the ball in play. It's not going to be by walking people and creating problems.
Manny tonight is 1 for 3 in an intentional walk. Strike 2. And now, George, the slider comes into play, and again, Manny hasn't seen him.
He has not seen him, but it's been 2 straight fastballs, one on the outside corner, one on the inside corner. But again, just like Beimel was with Ethier, you got 4 shots at him. Just don't make a mistake, just make a pitch. Not the perfect pitch.
They want a fastball up, and it's fouled off.
Out over the plate and down, not up.
Well, Manny heard it from the crowd when he made the final out on Sunday in the Dodgers' 3-1 loss to the Cubs. And the Rockies would love to razz him here. 0-2 on Ramirez. 4-3 Colorado. Line drive, base hit. And Ramirez has tied it up.
Well, and what this does for tonight's ball game more than anything else, he ties this game up. You've been through Betancourt, Morales, and Beimel. So you had a short bullpen already. Your left-hand side is gone. It appeared to be a slider, but it was up in the strike zone, almost chest high. 540 home runs in his career and about 1,800 RBIs. This is a money player, folks. When he tied this game up with a line drive.
Yeah, it's always easy to second guess after something bad happens. Were you surprised that he never, when he got ahead, threw him the slider?
I was a little surprised, and yeah, it's easy for me to sit up and say that now because he made a mistake with a ball up in the strike zone. It was chest high, a very hittable pitch on a very good high ball hitter. But to take 4 completely out of the strike zone, problem is with Manny Ramirez, he just doesn't chase a lot.
1-1 on James Loney. Loney's 0 for 4. So now you look at the bottom of the 9th. The Rockies will have Hop, Smith, and Barnes. Two and one. Pop fly, shallow left, and Stewart fielded it in fair territory. Ramirez to third, and to second base goes Loney. Tough angle for Ian Stewart.
No question, very tough angle for him to go even think about getting there. to catch the baseball, a little put leather on it, and then try to catch it looking back over the shoulder. It hit right in the palm of the glove, and it bounced away from him, and he's going to grab the ball quickly. Manny Ramirez came around third base and was held up in a hurry.
Tough chance. Right now they're scoring it an error on Ian Stewart. Broxton, if the Dodgers take the lead. Troncoso if they don't. We're going to pass on Casey Blake and deal with Russell Martin.
Load up the force everywhere. Martin has not swung the bat well this year. 258 with 38 RBIs. The month of August, Martin has hit 231 with 1 home run, and with men in scoring position for the year, Martin's only hit 237. Quite a contrast from what he has done previously in his career.
Well, the Rockies trying to get by for one night without Houston Street, and they could not hold a 2-run ninth-inning lead. A blown save for the Rockies' pen, which has been very, very good, particularly in the second half. So Russell Martin at the plate, 1 for 4 against Matt Daly. Popped up down the right field line, and no play. One and one on Martin. Base is full of Dodgers, and it's 2-1. Martin has faced Daly one time. He's 0 for 1. And this is popped up. It should be playable. Iannetta. Oh, what a horrible break. It hit the guide wire. It hit the guide wire. Otherwise, the play is going to be made by Iannetta. I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
Really, really tough break there.
Daly forced to make another pitch. And he does. Center field, Gonzalez has it. But the Dodgers scored twice. Manny Ramirez behind in the count. Lines a base hit to right to bring in Rafael Furcal. We're all even going to the bottom of the ninth. hopefully the Rockies can make it fun in the bottom of the ninth. It is 4-4. Danny Ramirez, clutch base hit to right to tie the ball game. Ramon Troncoso will take over for the Dodgers in the bottom of the ninth. He will face Brad Hopp, Seth Smith, and Clint Barnes. Hopp is 2 for 3 against Troncoso. Smith is 2 for 3 against Troncoso. Barnes 0 for 5. This kid throws hard, 93 to 95. Curveball slider. Brad Hopp, who homered earlier in the ball game. Ball 1. Maybe it's all just a setup for a little more high drama, huh?
Why not, huh? Keep the fans on the edge of their seat. You'd rather not do it that way.
No, they probably would have taken the tidy 4-2.
Yep. 1-2-3
conventional victory.
1-2-3 ninth.
But nothing's been easy this year for the Rockies against LA. 2-1. Rockies 2-10 against the Dodgers this year. Those rally caps worked last night. Giants losing to Dan Herron in Arizona in the 6th inning, 2-1 at AT&T Park. That's Matt Cain going for San Francisco. And Brad hits it on the ground to second. Rockies came into the ball game 3 behind the Dodgers. 4 up on the Giants, 5 up on both Florida and Atlanta. San Diego went to Atlanta and won tonight. Florida beat the Mets in Miami 2-1. By the way, Johan Santana is going to have bone spurs removed from his elbow. He is out for the rest of the year, so the Rockies won't see him when they face the Mets here in a couple of weeks. Seth Smith with an 0-1 count. He has absolutely thrived on these situations. 1-1. Two count on Smith.
Looking through the bullpens, and again, Street down tonight. Hurge is the only remaining guy down there at this time.
Two and two.
The Giants, Broxton, Mota, and McDonald are still there. Sherrill, the left-hander.
Rafael Betancourt, George, in his first 14 appearances in the Rockies uniform, did not give up a run. And tonight, charged for the 2 that scored at the top of the ninth, a blown save. 3-2. Base hit for Smith, of course. So the winning run is aboard, and that'll bring up Barnes.
Trying to come down and in with a fastball and being able to handle it. Left-handed hitters really like the ball down. They like the ball in. Difficult to lift out of the park, not difficult to make solid contact, and exactly what Seth Smith did.
Barmes, 1 for 3, but it was a big one. A home run his last at bat in the 7th to give the Rockies at the time a 3-2 lead.
On a ball that was in the middle half of the plate, up a little bit, Barmes unloaded.
Smith has pretty good speed once he gets underway. If you get a ball in the gap, particularly in left center, where Manny might have to handle it. 1-1. More often than not, Clint Barmes pulls the baseball. There goes the runner, and it's fouled off.
Hit and run
so
off.
Hit and run was on. And Barmes pops it up. Foul ground, Loney and Hudson makes the catch. 2 outs, and Chris Iannetta will come up. Chris 0 for 3 tonight. Ball in the air to right, a couple of ground balls to the left side.
Notice one pattern from Troncoso more than anything else. He hasn't come inside hardly at all. And it's all been very good placement of the fastball down and away to the right-handed hitter. Doesn't miss his spots very often. Arm comes out of the glove on the body line extremely well.
Here's the 1-1. And the check swing, foul ball, 1-2. Badly fooled is gone. So the Rockies leave Smith at first, and we're going extra innings again at Coors Field, tied at 4. Blake hit a home run on his 36th birthday to make it 2-0. Brad Hopp with a runner at third, and he hits it out to tie it at 2 against Clayton Kershaw. 7th inning, Clint Barmas leaves the building. 3-2 Colorado. And then in the bottom of the 8th inning, Tulowitzki against Quo rips one down the third base line. 1 run scores, and Helton trying to make it 5-2 is cut down at the plate. And that proved to be large because in the top of the 9th inning, a sac fly by Kemp brought in 1 run, and then Manny Ramirez on an 0-2 pitch lines a single to right to tie it up. So we go extra innings, back-to-back ball games. Last time the Rockies played back-to-back extra inning games was last May of 2008. Omar Quintanilla is in the ball game for Barmas, double switch. Matt Hergis is on the hill, and those were back-to-back ball games, but they were not consecutive days. There was a day off in between. And that's a fair ball. That's a freebie. Hudson is out on the first pitch from Matt Hergis, trying to bunt his way on. So Mark Loretta will be the pinch hitter in the pitcher spot for Troncoso. Hergis is the only pitcher not utilized last night by the Rockies. And suffice it to say, this is the last thing you wanted to see if you're Jim Tracy.
Well, it is. I mean, that's just the last thing you needed.
James McDonald throwing, former starter. Mark Loretta, always a tough out. Takes a strike. One and one. So Hergis is arm number 6 that the Rockies have used tonight. Shame Jason Hamill will get a no decision after 7 outstanding innings. This is line foul. Hamill allowed 2 runs on 8 hits in 7 innings, walked 2, struck out 4. Not only did he pitch well, George, he gave the Rockies needed length on a day they certainly needed to have their starter go deep.
Gave you everything you exactly needed, no question.
I mean, look at the available pitches. Street's name is not crossed out, but Houston Street, in the mind of Jim Tracy, he is not available, or you would have seen him already. And Loretta is gone. So Matt Hergis strikes out Mark Loretta. 2 gone in the 10th, and Rafael Furcal will come up.
Well, right here, look at this big old hook. That's the pitch he didn't use the other night when he came into the ball game. Tonight he uses it, and things turn out pretty well. Good curveball right on the block.
Doug did a little more research. The last time the Rockies played extra inning games consecutive calendar days, August 10th and 11th of 2005 against the Pirates. That's a strike. They won the second game 11-3 in 10 innings. Guess they had a big bottom. Wait a second, that had to be on the road. Obviously, that had to be on the road. You know what? They didn't win the game. They lost 11-3 here at Coors Field. Sharply hit, a kick to Nia, and a terrific play by Obar. And it's a 1-2-3 10th inning by Hergis. Now the Rockies in the bottom of the 10th will have Ian Stewart, and then the top of the order. You wouldn't have a center fielder.
Well, if Stewart gets on, you bunny.
And if he doesn't?
Bunny.
All right, it's 4-4, bottom of the 10th inning, and I feel like we're revisiting last night because we are. You have the Gonzalez issue again. He is due up second in the inning. And he swung the bat a little bit underneath today to see how it would feel. Yesterday he was unable to, and I know he has pain in the hand and the forearm right now because of the injury to his hand a couple of days ago when he tried to catch a kitchen knife that fell off his plate and he was cleaning up.
25 walks and 49 innings pitched for McDonald, who's come on in relief for the Dodgers. Minor league pitcher of the year, both AA, AAA. Houston Street just walked into the bullpen.
Stewart takes a strike. It's 1-1. So Gonzalez is on deck. Of course, the ideal situation would be a double, a bunt to get him to third, and a sac fly, and everybody goes home happy. Of course, Stewart could take care of it himself also if he feels like it. 2-1. 3-1.
That's one thing that McDonald mentioned earlier has really struggled with, throwing strikes consistently. He doesn't strike out a lot of people. 33 and 49 innings. Earned run average around 4.
Ball 4. So Stewart walks, and now Gonzalez can bunt him over. Omar Quintanilla, who just came in, is on deck. Casey Blake may be reminding James McDonald. Remember, he's hurt. He can't swing the bat. Or at least we believe he can't swing the bat. And they'd be looking for the bunt probably anyhow. But now I'm watching Blake, and he started back even with the bag. Now he's come in. And a good bunt. Really good bunt. McDonald misses it. Throw to first. It's a wild throw. Stewart to third base. He'll hold there. Nobody out. The winning run is 90 feet away.
Young kid out on the mound, pennant race, you're up 3, tight things start to happen. You lay down a great bunt by Gonzalez. Very athletic. McDonald's going to go after the baseball as the pitcher comes over to get the ball. Loney misses, whiffs, and Loney grabs and a snap throw over. And it goes beyond Rolando Hudson. Here you're going to get a very good view. You see him just say, no, don't throw the baseball. Hold it. And the bench realized there's magic all over this ballpark.
They're scoring at a base hit. And an error on Loney.
This fifth.
So Quintanilla with the infield and outfield in. And he fouls it off. Gonzalez, who took off for second, will come back. He's kidding Omar in the dugout earlier this afternoon. I said, do you remember that a year ago, it was a year ago to the day yesterday where you hit the walk-off home run? And he said, was it a year ago? I said, yep, it was 1 year ago. Of course, he had an opportunity late in the ball game last night. And he's got a huge opportunity right here. I mean, the outfield, it's like a Little League outfield. And it's 0-2. You have Helton on deck. You know, why would you have gone there, George? Because that opens up first base. The run at second doesn't mean anything. I know you want to, and they're pulled in. You're not going to, they're not trying to turn two. There's nobody out. And now, if it gets to Helton,
you're going to walk Helton.
You walk them anyhow, I guess, is the thought process there. You know, because all of that doesn't matter. If you get an out here, you got to go and load the bases, don't you?
Well, you better, yeah. Well, you have to. No question about it. You put your middle infield back tight to the corner.
One and two on Omar. And McDonald strikes out Quintanilla. Everybody's excited about Helton coming up, but there's no way he's going to swing the bat. They'll put him on to load the bases for Tulowitzki. Well, this also conjures up memories of last night, because in the 9th inning, the 10th inning, and the 11th inning, the Rockies got the winning run to third base in all 3 of those innings with less than 2 outs and failed to score. The only thing different about this situation is they got the winning run to third base with nobody out.
Now, Tulowitzki, 9 sacrifice flies. That's 3rd in the National League. That's a great number for him. Tulowitzki 1 for 4 against McDonald in his very young career. Joe Torre wants to make sure everybody knows what they're doing, so he wants to set back in the middle and make sure they're back for 2, tight on the corners to come to the plate.
Well, Ryan Spilborghs had a walk-off slam last night. Why not have another one? Make it an emphatic W. So the meeting is adjourned, and here comes Troy Tulowitzki striding to the plate in that pigeon-toed walk of his to face James McDonald. And the outfield pulled in for Colin Hudson. Move back a little bit. They're in on the corners. 1 out. Ian Stewart is the winning run at third base. Line drive, left center field. Rockies win it again. Tulowitzki. And he's going to take the party in the outfield. I'm sorry, George, go ahead.
Looking for first pitch fastball, Tulowitzki. Guessing fastball, swinging first pitch, and Tulo got what just he wanted. Four-seam fastball down in the strike zone away where he can extend the arms. It shoots this line drive right into left center field, out into the wall. Chase given, and then Chase lost. The Rockies win this one, the opening one, and Tulo knew it. Watch this, point to the dugout. It's a winner, boys. Come get me.
And Colorado now within 2 games of the Dodgers in the top spot in the National League West. Here's the standings updated. The Rockies within 2 at 72 and 54. Should be a 72 next to the Rockies there. 2 games shy in the win column. Tulowitzki wins it in the 10th inning. And he also saves that bullpen. Matt Hergis gets the win. James McDonald the loss. Don't go anywhere. We got another happy Rockies post-game report coming up from